Good morning and welcome to our Sunday service streaming to you live from Unity Church of the Hills in Austin, Texas. This morning, Reverend Aliza is going to be talking about falling into ease, which is actually the name of one of her books, Falling into Ease. She'll be drawing from that book in her talk today. And it made me think, what book are you reading right now? I'm in the middle of a book called The Power of Love by Dr. Fran Grace, and I am loving it. And I know we all love to hear from each other, and it's a way to connect. So in the comments, when you say hello this morning, let us know what book you are enjoying right now. And if you're new to Unity Church of the Hills, welcome. We're so glad you're with us. You can type the word connect, and one of our virtual ambassadors will reach out to you. Our Sharing is Caring program continues, and this Sunday we are supporting an organization called Compassionate Austin. Our dear sweet congregant Clay Boykin introduced us to Compassionate Austin, which is part of the Charter for Compassion. Let me tell you about these guys. Compassionate Austin focuses on the importance of compassion in 3 areas: caring for others, for self, and for the earth. They provide tools for strengthening compassion skills, practices, and actions, and seek to build a community of people in Austin committed to the values and actions of compassion, which absolutely aligns with Unity principles. We love this organization. If it speaks to your heart, for every share of our service while we are live, we will donate $5 to this amazing organization. Take a moment, share the service right now, and let's get started.
Down in my soul, I feel holy. Hey, down in my soul, I feel holy. Ooh, down in my soul, in my sanctified soul, down in my soul. I feel holy. Down in my soul, I feel God's love. Oh, down in my soul, I feel God's love. Ooh, down in my soul, in my sanctified soul, down in my soul, I feel God's love. Yes, down in my soul, I feel holy. Feel it
down in my soul, I feel holy. What you all don't see is how they saunter off the stage. And how I saunter onto the stage. Good morning, and welcome to Unity Church of the Hills. This is our Sunday morning celebration service, and we are so glad that you are here with us. We know that you are either live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on our website, or catching a recording, and we know that because there's nobody in our building yet, so we want to really... I got a little side laugh, so I'm not sure you can hear the side laughs, but we want to really know that you're with us. We want to really expand our level of connection and engagement, and so we're playing with a few ways to do that. An idea that somebody has given me, like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row, is to do shout out to people who are here. So, hi everybody who's here. I'm trying to do the phone, and I don't know, it might work. So Kathy, Audrey, who else is here? Kathleen, Rebecca, RV, Jennifer. I don't know who else is here because my phone doesn't really keep up, but that was our attempt. So shout out to us too. Let us know that you're watching. Let us know how you're feeling today. If you're in Austin, it's a super foggy, really kind of wild-ish morning. And if you were on our Facebook earlier, somebody posted, probably Tammy, a picture of the flowers in the fog. It was the coolest picture. So anyway, my name's Reverend Aliza Bloom Robinson. I am your interim minister, here for a period of time while you're in your search for your next senior minister, spiritual leader. It's my honor to be here, and we welcome each and every one of you. If you happen to be somebody who's watching us or catching us for the first time, know that we're here for you, and we welcome you. We welcome everybody. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about our ministry or Unity, just type the word connect into the chat. We have a couple of ambassadors who are following the chat and following the comments. So we love engagement, and we want to keep our, I was going to say commentators. Is that what you are, Jennifer? Or commentator? We want to keep them busy today, so so glad you're here. Unity is founded in prayer, and we have prayer chaplains available to pray with you. There should be a number on your screen, and if you call that number, leave your name, your phone number, and your prayer request, or just a request for prayer, they will be happy to call you as soon as the service is over. We also have prayer chaplains who are available to pray with you and make calls to you. So we're really deepening our culture of care. If you need care, would like to give care, let us know by contacting the office. That would primarily be Jennifer, as she's our, takes care of everything in the office, point person. We also want to just take a moment to honor, to think about, to engage with our youth and family program. We have virtual Zoom rooms. Oh, my phone's beeping at me. That's why I don't bring it on stage. And so there's events that are happening. They're all virtual right now, but check it out if you know somebody who's got kids, who is a parent, who as a grandparent. We've got lots of resources. So if you go to unityhills.org, you can find in the youth program all kinds of things. You can also scroll around on our Facebook page for, I think the recordings are up on there as well. Or contact Jennifer. Jennifer, you are going to be busy this week. So we take a moment just to really think about those kids, from the littlest newborns all the way up through the high school, the 20s, and even to the 30s, our next generation. And we just give thanks for them, for they are the future of the world. They're the future of Unity. And we just seed these young people with the spiritual truth principles that will empower them throughout their lives, which will then in turn empower us again. So wonderful. Yesterday we had a board retreat, and it's apparently something we do every year here. It was all day long. We spent time together. We did some business. We did some visioning. We did some processing. We did some look at our strategic overall. Well, really, we did a lot of work yesterday. I don't really know why we called it a retreat, But it was good. And we came up with a whole bunch of top priorities, if you will, for the next year. Those will be coming to you. Frank and the other board members will be presenting that as we get it all put together. The top number one initiative, if you will, is really getting your next senior minister here. So we hold space for that. We have a prayer for that. I don't have it with me, but you can find it. And so we're just envisioning that person arriving, sliding in, and jumping off with momentum. Oops. Anyway, another one was really our culture of care. Another one was really a consciousness of being, and inside of that, a simplifying some of the systems that are cumbersome and really putting our focus on our presence, our spiritual principles, and actually embodying those. We're also obviously have in-person gatherings as a priority. As soon as we're able to do that, we'll be moving forward on that too. And so hopefully that'll be, sometime. All right, let's join together with our vision statement. If you will say it with me. And as you say it, I invite you to pray it. But as you pray it, I invite you to come into alignment with it. Feel the vibrational frequency of this vision. Together, we are an ever-expanding community of love and acceptance where lives are transformed. And we take that into an opening prayer. Ever-expanding, transformation, community, love. This is what our world needs. And so we open ourselves individually and collectively to the transformation that comes through the practicing of our principles. There is but only one presence, one power. It is both within us and greater than us. It is the thing. It is the energy. It is the foundation of our beingness in oneness. As we open to experience that today and every day, we are transformed. So we just lift up a prayer for anybody who's in need today. We've got some staff members and family members close to our hearts, so we just lift them up, and we know that they also are in the experience of the ever-expanding consciousness of God, of wholeness, of peace, of grace, of ease. And we lift up each and every one of you and all of those you're praying with. We know that with God, all things are possible. We see it done. We claim it, proclaim it, allow it, and accept it. And so it is. Amen.
A few other folks who said hello while the welcome was going on. So hello back to Uma and Bianca and Diana, Michael and Nancy, and so many more of you. We're so glad to be here with you this morning. This week's sharing is Caring Benefits Compassion at Austin, a part of the Charter for Compassion. Our dear congregant Clay Boykin introduced us to this organization. And they focus on increasing compassionate action in 3 areas: caring for others, for self, and for the earth. For every share of the service while we are live, we will donate $5 to this incredible organization. Now, in case you missed the start of the Way of ACIM 2, Undoing of Fear, led by longtime course student Jennifer Feiereisel, there's still time to join. The 18-week exploration takes place either on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. or Friday mornings at 10:30 a.m., and you can learn more and register at unityhills.org. And it's also not too late to join Prosperity Plus 3,
Living Full Spectrum Wealth with Reverend Aliza, which is taught virtually via video by Mary Morrissey. And the class began last Monday, and it will run for another 7 more weeks, with registration open through tomorrow. Who wants to hang out in the quantum field and raise your frequency? I know I do. Well, Reverend Aliza's group quantum frequency sessions take place on Wednesday afternoons at 12:30 p.m. What better way to spend your lunch break? The sessions are 45 minutes, and they are unique depending on who shows up in the field. They're offered on a love offering basis and take place on Zoom. Our Unity Prayer class begins this coming Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon and lasts for 5 weeks. The course is taught by licensed Unity teacher Anita Farrell and LUT candidate Sandra Vela. I know Sandra's watching with us this morning. Hi, Sandra. So you can help us make our new Angel Wings an Instagrammable destination in Austin. We are running a drawing through the month of January for anyone who posts their photo in front of the wings on Facebook or Instagram with the hashtags Ready to Soar or Finding My Wings. I had a congregant who asked if they could Photoshop themselves in, and that is absolutely fine. So come and take your picture today or use Photoshop, either one. So our Spirit Circles will be meeting virtually beginning the week of February 7th, and we'll be diving deeper into Reverend Aliza's book, Falling into Ease, which is the topic of her message today. You can find a group to join at unityhills.org, and if you don't see a group that meets your schedule, please email us at communications@unityhills.org, and we'll see what we can do to support you. Now, whether you're purchasing a copy of Reverend Aliza's book or any book that you're looking to read right now, we just want to remind you, one, our bookstore is open during regular office hours. That's Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 5. Or you can shop through bookshop.org, which is our online book portal. And the church actually receives more money than if you were to use Amazon Smile. It's something like 30% of the purchase price comes to UCOH, as opposed to 3% with Amazon Smile. So we just want to encourage you to consider shopping through bookshop.org/shop/UCOH. So now, today's meditation is adapted from the guidebook for Falling into Ease. So let's go ahead and move into that space now. And I invite you to close your eyes and just take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, relax. Once again, breathing in and letting go. Just become aware of your body. Feel your head and notice the back of your eyes. Feel your feet firmly on the ground. Open your palms. Become aware of them. Now bring your awareness to the top, from the top of your head down to your feet, dropping your focus there. And then draw your awareness up through your legs, hips, torso, landing in your heart. And if you need to do that again, just drop into your feet and then come up into your heart. Imagine seeing your heart as the physical organ that it is, pumping blood, supporting life in your body. And now imagine dropping to the center of your heart and finding yourself in a cave of exquisite crystalline light. And you feel the safety and the support, the security of being the safe place deep in your heart. And from this deeper heart, you bask, you rest, filled with light, love, energy, and inspiration. Can you feel an impulse deep within your heart? You are supported. You are loved. Feel the love that is. Receive it and then receive even more in the silence. When you are ready, feel this love moving throughout your body and into your feet, grounding it through your being. Feel it moving through your hands and your head. Anchor the experience and bring it forward, back into this present moment. And when you are ready, open your beautiful eyes.
Be still and know. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God.
I hear your crying. I feel your pain. You're caught in a struggle, growing weary, doing well.
I want you to know that you're not alone. So drop your defenses. You don't have to do it by yourself. Be still. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. Be still and know that I am. Be still I will strengthen, I will establish in all the earth. Be still and know that I am Jehovah. I am omnipotent. I am your healer, a child of God. I am holy. I am righteousness, Messiah, Emmanuel. I will sustain, I will strengthen, I will establish in all the earth. Be still and know that I am Jehovah. I am omnipotent. I am your healer, a child of God. I am holy. I am righteousness, Messiah, Emmanuel. Be still, be still, be still, be still, be still and know that I am God. I am God.
Be still and know that I am God. Sounds so easy, doesn't it? Just be still and know that I'm God. Ah, be still. Ah, wait a minute. How do you be still? How do you be still and know that God is? Sort of the question of the century, isn't it? But I have another question for you. Would it be all right with you if your life got easier? I'm going to ask it again. I want you to really feel what that question does to you. Would it be all right with you if your life got easier? Like maybe, my shoulders can kind of relax, my chest can kind of open, I can kind of drop some control. that might be happening for you. You might be going, oh, I hope so, but I don't believe it. Or you might go like one of our music people when we were praying in this morning and said, well, what would we do then? What would we do if life were easier? Now, let me tell you, let me give you the caveat, the fine print. Just because you learn to have more ease in your life doesn't mean that the outer circumstances are always easy. Sorry, I wish it did. But it's not always true. But when we can find the place in us, and it is a state of consciousness, it is a vibrational alignment with that which we call ease, then we have more capacity to navigate through all that life gives us. Now, I think you would agree, I should ask you instead of tell you, working on this engagement thing, especially because you're not here. Life was a little interesting this past year and a half. Would you agree? Yeah. Is there a place in your life, a specific place in your life where you would like a little more ease? Now, this is the engagement part. If you're willing, type it in the comments. Now, I didn't bring my phone, but I'll look at them later. But I'm going to pretend to know that you might say you could use a little more ease in your health, a little more wholeness in your health. As I mentioned in our opening prayer, we have some people here in this room whose family members are facing health challenges, as many of your family members are, maybe you are yourself. So when you think about that challenge, or that person, or that experience, what happens to your body? Do you contract, or do you go, oh, like energetically? Because I know a lot of us are unity trained, so we're really good at saying the words, oh, all is well, don't worry. But if we're not doing it, if we're not changing our vibration, then we're trying to do spiritual bypass, which is always kind of a favorite path, but it's not the highest and best path. It's just the one we choose, right? Because we don't want to look, we don't want to tell the truth, we don't want to experience that. Or maybe the place you need more ease is in relationships. Or maybe in your vocation or your job or your economics. Or maybe in your calendar. Or maybe in your bank account. Now, those of you who are already signed up for Prosperity Plus, you might notice that I hit on those 4 areas. If you're not already signed up for Prosperity Plus, shameless plug, and you need some ease in any of those areas, go look at the course. It will help. It'll create the shift which will open the space for the transformation. Because the truth is, whatever it is we focus on is what we get more of. So when we're focused on, I don't want this dis-ease, I don't want this lack, I don't want this argument, what are we going to get more of? That very thing. But how do we fall into ease? How do we shift our vibration and our awareness and then our whole energetic being? How do we do it? That's the key. That's the key question. It's also the key answer, right? So I've had, years ago, my life, well, way back, when my kids were little, I was a single mom for most of their lives. And when they were little, itty bitty, and I was first single, and we were having those typical early morning moments. Maybe some of you can relate. Hurry up, wake up, get out of bed, brush your teeth, eat your breakfast, put your clothes on, tie your shoes, get your backpack, we gotta go. There was a little stress in our days, and I woke up one day and I said, wait a minute, is there another way? And through the spiritual practices and through the principles and through probably some coaching I was getting or some awarenesses I was having, that stopped. and we were able to find this point of ease, we still had to do the same actions, still had to get the kids out of bed and get their teeth brushed and their clothes on and their breakfast done and their backpacks ready and into the car, but we were able to do it in the spaciousness of ease. So I share that story because it is a definite past that had a pivot moment to come into a present moment. The present moment is, for the most part, not 100%, but for the most part, I live a life of great ease. Now, the question I asked you a moment ago, would it be all right with you if life got easier? I heard that when I was in seminary, 1998. Our friend and colleague, and maybe you've heard of Maria Namath, was basing her work around that question. But that question it got me. You know, I'd already had the experience with the kids. I've already had some experiences of doing life less stressed, if we could say that. And it hit me, and it hit me home in such a way that it's been with me ever since. And so a few years ago, when I was getting ready to write my first book, which is really my second book, but we won't talk about the first one until another time. So the first real Amazon best-selling book, and that came, I feel like I'm spinning a little bit here, so let me see if I can catch myself. That came because I taught Mary Morrissey's Prosperity Plus the first time, and out of that came a reigniting of my desire to write a book. So that sort of immediately followed. See how these things are all woven together? It's true. But I thought, what am I going to write? What am I going to write? And then I found a process where the book was basically birthed through me, and I'm like, what am I going to call it? It's like, oh, falling into ease. Release your struggle and create a life you love. Falling into ease. Falling into ease. Now, I will tell you that I promote in this book the idea of gently falling, of sinking, of landing, of opening into this place of ease. And I've also stumbled and fallen hard and found ease. But I don't recommend that method. If you can avoid it, just do, because it's just more painful that way. But when I first, maybe not the first time, but when I first had this stumble, this fall, this drop, it came out of a time in my life where it was really hard. And in that stumble, I hit my knees and I went, oh, I can't do my life. This was many years ago, early 90s, and I sometimes share this story. But what came out of that was this covenant, really, with Spirit that said, Spirit to me, if you follow, I will lead. And that has been a foundational piece. And then when I heard in the late 90s, this, would it be all right with you if life got easier? It's another foundational piece. And I had hoped that meant my life actually got easier. That was not proven to be true, but the ease that I found in myself allows me to navigate my life. And so what is ease? What is the idea of ease? Ease, as I use it in the book, ease as I use it a lot of time, is like landing into that point of oneness. Ease can be said to be the quantum field, or the quantum field can be said to be a point of ease. The kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God, which is the experience of Spirit, could be said to be ease. It's that point, it's that be still and know. It's that be still, it's accessing the point of that vibration, frequency, dimension, consciousness. Mark Nepo, who's a poet, he's written many books, describes that sweet spot of ease like this. Each person is born with an unencumbered spot, free of expectation and free of ambition and embarrassment, free of fear and worry, an umbilical spot of grace where we were first touched by God. It is this spot of grace that issues peace. Psychologists call this spot the psyche. Theologians call it the soul. Jung calls it the seat of the unconscious. Hindu masters call it Atman. Buddhists call it Dharma. Rilke calls it inwardness. Sufis call it Qalb. And Jesus calls it the center of our love. And it is that place where you touch it and you land in this spaciousness that is ease, no matter what's going on. So, a story. A farmer lives in a very small house with his wife and his 5 children, and it's loud, and it's noisy, and it's squishy, meaning there's not enough space. Then his in-laws come and move in with him, and it gets louder and less space and more messy and more noisy. So he goes to a wise man and he says, "It's making me crazy. This noise is making me crazy." And the wise man says, "Well, you're a farmer, right?" He says, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, you have chickens, right?" He goes, "Yeah." He says, "Bring the chickens into the house." He goes, "What?" But he does what the wise man says. And the chickens, of course, are louder and squawking and stinky. He goes back to the wise man the next week. He goes, "Oh my gosh, it's gotten worse. I can't believe you told me to do that." He goes, "Now what do I do?" He says, "Well, you have goats, right?" "Yeah, I have goats." He goes, "Bring the goats in the house." "What?" He goes, "Just do it." So he did it because he's investing in somebody who knows more than him. Maybe, perhaps, right? He's willing to do something different. So he brings the goats in. There's 3 of them. Amidst all those kids and those adults and the grandparents and the chickens, it's a nightmare. And he goes back to the wise man the next week and he says, "Did you bring the goats in?" He goes, "Yeah, how was it?" He goes, "Horrible. Horrible." He goes, "Now what do I do?" He goes, "I'm just like absolutely at my wit's end. I can't even hardly go into the house." He goes, "Well," the wise man, "well, do you have sheep?" He goes, "Are you kidding me? Of course I have sheep." "Bring them in." "What? You've got to be crazy." He says, "Just do it." So he goes home, he brings the sheep in. And now the house, can you only imagine? Crazed house. And the next week, the farmer goes to the wise man. He goes, "Okay, I don't know what you got me into because it is not working for me. What do I do now?" And the wise man says, "Well, go home and take the sheep back out and let the goats go and put the chickens back in the yard and notice what you notice." And so the farmer went home and he took the sheep and the goats and the chickens, he cleared the space out. And all of a sudden, those 5 kids and the farmer's wife and the in-laws found their house to be spacious and quiet and clean. Sometimes it's got to be a little worse before it gets better. Sometimes you don't realize how good your life is until you bring the chickens in and the goats and the sheep. But if you've got chickens and goats and sheep in your consciousness around how bad it is and how awful it is in your head, in your world, in your life, in the world, then feel what that feels like, and then let them back out. Let them back out. And what you will find is a spaciousness of consciousness. And in that spaciousness of consciousness, you find yourself. And when you find yourself, then you can navigate through whatever life gives you. Jesus says to us from Matthew 6. This is a big one for people. So, fasten your seatbelts, like, get ready. Are you ready? Are you ready to hear from the Master? Okay. Do not worry. Yeah, but wait. But you don't know how bad it is, and you don't know about my brother, my sister, and my mother, and my uncle, and my cousin. You don't know about my bank account, and you don't know what the things I have to worry about. You have no idea. Jesus says, do not worry. Do not worry about your life, about what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food and body more than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. And are you not much more valuable than they? Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? And why do you worry about clothes? See how the flowers of the field grow? They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all of his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? So do not worry. But seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Do not worry, but instead seek first the kingdom of God. What's the kingdom of God? The kingdom of God is the experience of oneness. It is the experience of that presence, that one presence and one power. We call it God. More often I use the word source or creation or universe or intelligence or infinite. It's the experience of that presence that is both within us and so much greater than us. And when we have that experience, and we allow it to fill our awareness fully, there becomes nothing to worry about. There becomes an overwashing, overriding, enveloping sense of peace and love and joy and compassion. Here's what happens biologically, physiologically, psychologically, vibrationally. Here's what happens. Here's why this matters. We go through our lives tied up in knots with stress and concern, and what would we think about if we had ease? What would we do if we had grace? We actually had the experience, or I did this morning in the sanctuary earlier, because sometimes we're kind of running around and we're busy and there's lots to do and lots of pieces and moving parts and all of that. But there was a couple of us in here, it's like, wow, it feels like really spacious this morning. And there's this sense of oh, all is well, and it is done. Now, telling on myself a little bit, I usually am spacious and quiet and landed and all of this stuff, and I'm a little bit internally prickly today. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, what's going on? I'm talking about ease. I don't want to be prickly. Well, you can't wish it away, right? That's why I share this. You can't just wish it away, but you can transcend it. How do you do it? Notice what you notice. Like I notice, I got a little thing in my back. It's like, kind of like prickly thing. I got a little thing in I'm just like not like fully presently grounded. So the first thing I do is notice what I notice. The second thing I do is not judge it, right? Do not judge. Do not shame yourself or guilt yourself or blame yourself, much less anyone else. Take a breath. Feel your feet. Choose again, but you cannot choose again until you notice it. So back to biologically, physiologically, hormonally, all of that thing. When we walk around prickly or tense or stressed or tired or sick, no judgment on any of those, but our system, body, mind, heart, soul, spirit system contracts. We tap into the reptilian brain and we go into survival. It's nothing wrong with that. It's just survival. It's just how we seem to live on the planet. But we don't have to live there because there's higher levels of consciousness. And so when we are contracted, like go ahead and contract now just for fun because this is, working on engagement here. So wherever you're sitting in your house, contract. You can even contort, like, right? Contract and contort. Notice how nothing flows. Like, what do you notice in your body when you're contracted? So, okay. Biologically, every time you release that, you open, you fall into ease, you drop that, you do your heart math practices, you land in your heart, you feel your feet, you look at the sky, you distract your reptilian brain, which is like a 2-year-old. If your 2-year-old is busy doing something you don't want that 2-year-old to do, you don't say, don't. Well, maybe you do, but what works better is distraction. Come play over here. Come play over here. Let's go play over here. We do that with our reptilian brain. And when we do that, Heart Math, which is the secular scientific organization that's proving spirituality works, and you spend a few moments in your heart, out of your brain into your heart, you spend a few moments activating appreciation or gratitude, your physiological body begins to change. The stress hormones begin to decrease. The feel-good hormones begin to increase. The chemical cocktails that flood your system change. And you actually come into coherence, which is another word for ease. So when you take the time, and you can do it over time in minutes or moments or seconds, you do it with awareness. And you do it for long enough that your body shifts. Like, often it's an exhale. For me, my shoulders drop to where they belong instead of, up as earrings. My chest opens. I can feel my feet again. I bring my awareness to my belly. It's like, oh, there I am. And what's happening is we're disengaging from the monkey mind. And when you disengage from the mind, you can access your being. And when you access your being, your heart and mind come into coherence, and your biochemical system comes into coherence, and healing begins. And abundance begins, and wholeness shows up, and all of those things that we actually desire because we enter into that point of beingness, where Jesus said, with God, all things are possible. And greater things than these shall you do. We access the divine mind, not through our mind, but through our be still and know, through that point of ease, through that practice of landing in a different place. And so if you're a part of the spirit groups, or you want to be part of the spirit groups, this is a great book, shamelessly promoted for that. We've got study guides, and there's exercises and journaling prompts and meditations each and every time that you come together. And it's a super easy to read book, and it's a super easy to practice book, and in that it becomes transformational. Chris Chenoweth, who is a Unity minister, in Texas for many years. He's been around for a long time. A friend of ours, he has this little thing on the back. He says, I recommend, I'll read the whole thing. Falling into Ease by Aliza Bloom Robinson is a well-written book that I recommend for this transition into your higher living. Easy to read, easy to relate to, easy to implement. Don't put off what can begin right now, your life. I recommend you reading Falling into Ease. I recommend considering getting into a spirit group. They're all going to be by Zoom. So a spirit group is a small group that comes together to study, a small group that comes together for fellowship, for community, for connection, and for learning and growing. So Jesus knew the power of falling into ease. Charles Fillmore knew it too. That power, he called it going to headquarters when everything began to change. 3 ways. I was going to give you 3 ways to do it, and I know I'm kind of coming to my time here, but 3 ways to do it. So the first is notice what you notice, and if you're contracted, drop it. Okay, so do this. So we already contracted. I don't want to leave you there. Contracted, right? Contracted. Notice it, drop it. Okay, so stop, drop, and pivot. Like stop, drop, and roll. You know, you're the fireman, right? So, oh, my stomach's cramping up. Oh, my shoulder hurts. Oh, my jaw's tight. Oh, I don't feel very good. I feel prickly. Notice it, stop it, drop it. Like physically drop it. Just drop it. Change your vibration. Change your consciousness. That simply. And then pivot. What would you love instead? This is where the power of distraction comes in. Look at a flower, look at a child, come to a memory. Raise your vibration any way possible, and there's a million ways possible. Do it. Do it again and again and again, and your life will begin to change. You will begin to release your struggle and create a life you love. Release your struggle and create a life you love. We are here to make manifest the glory of God. We are here to awaken to the truth of who we are. We are spiritual beings in an awakening process, here to fall into ease so that then we can birth into the new humanity, one of love, kindness, compassion, one of beauty and creativity and innovation, one of fulfillment. One that is about accessing the truth of who you are and bringing it forth as a gift onto the planet. Stop, drop, pivot. Practice that again and again and again. Jump into a spirit group. Sign up for Prosperity Plus and begin to become the person you are here to be with ease. God bless you.
My favorite time of our service, because we get to give back to our community. And before I get into the blessing, I would like to challenge everybody to tell one person about Unity this week. Invite them to join Zoom. Everybody one time, okay? Now is the opportunity to support our spiritual community and experience the power of giving and receiving with our offering. There are ways to give. There are a number of ways to give. They are showing on your screen. For those of you in the sanctuary, we will not be passing an offering basket, but there are stations at the back of the sanctuary. Whether you are giving through our app, text to give, online, or by mail, we are grateful for your generosity, and we know that it will return to you tenfold. Let's speak our offering affirmation together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I circulate, and I am grateful.
God is the strength of my heart and will be so forever. God is the strength of my heart and will be so forever. God is the strength of my heart and will be so forever. God is the strength of my heart and will be so forever. My heart was moved, I was filled up with joy. Nevertheless, my forever will be. You are my heaven while here on earth. My desire is to have you with me. God is the strength
in my heart,
and he will
and will be so
forever.
forever.
Say God is
God is
the strength of my
the
heart,
strength of my heart,
and it will be
and will be so
forever.
forever.
Say God is the strength of my heart, and will be so forever. God is the strength of my heart, and will be so forever. My heart was moved, I was filled up with joy. Nevertheless, my forever will be. My God is faithful, my heart is free. My desire is to have you with me. God is the strength of my heart, and will be so forever. God is the strength of my heart, and will be so forever. Say God is the strength of my heart, and will be so forever. God is the strength of my heart, and will be so forever. God is the joy and the strength of my life, removes all things, misery and strife. God promised to keep me, never to leave me. I'll never ever be short of the truth. God is the strength,
Strength of my heart,
and it will be
and will be so
forever and ever. Say God is
God is
the
the
strength.
strength of my
I
heart,
know it's gonna be
and will see so
forever.
forever.
Say that God is my strength. Yes, He
The
is.
strength of my
I
heart,
know it will
and
be
will be so
forever.
forever.
Oh yeah, God is the strength of my heart, and will be so forever. God is the joy and the strength of my life, removes all things, misery and strife. God promised to keep me, never to leave me, never ever be short of the truth. God is my way out of no way. God is my leader each and every day.
God is,
He is my rock, yes, He is my shield.
God is,
God is the wheel in the middle of the wheel. God is my help. God is my strength. God is my shelter. Say God is the strength of my heart, and will be so forever.
So quickly, there is still time to register for Prosperity Plus 3, the Way of ACIM 2, and to join a Spirit Circle. As Reverend Aliza mentioned, we will be studying Falling into Ease, and the series begins the week of February 7th. So we are going to be going deeper, so please stick around. And if you have a question for Reverend Aliza, get that ready, type it in the comments. Shall we continue to play with the prayer for protection?
We are. I'm really loving it. What about you?
I am too.
And we would love to know if you all like how we're playing with prayer for protection.
Yeah, please let us know in the comments. So I'm going to say it the way that it was written, and then Reverend Aliza is going to take it into embodiment. So here we go. The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
I'm going to do two phrases. Can we start over?
Oh, yeah, sure.
You're too quick.
I'm so sorry.
Rewind. Pause.
Starting over. Take two.
Take two.
The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God. As the light of God, we shine.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God. As the love of God, we embrace.
The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God. As the power of God, we stand in truth.
The presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God. As the presence of God, we radiate love.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is swell.
And wherever we are, God is, for we are one. Go forth this week. Have a wonderful, blessed week of ease, and stick around for Going Deeper.
Yes, we'll be right back. Quick set change, and we're back.
And we're back.
So again, if you have a question for Reverend Aliza, go ahead and type that in the comments. So I've read your book. I love it. And in there, you make a distinction between peace and ease, that sometimes getting into peace might be challenging, but that ease is easier to get into. Pun intended.
Pun intended.
What is your
right.
thought?
Right.
Tell us the distinction.
So our lighting's changing. Our set's still
I know.
changing. That's beautiful. So the state of ease can be found in the midst of anything. Now, if you're in a state of complete and total distress, it's really hard to find peace. Mm-hmm. You can get there. Mm-hmm. It's a quantum leap, but it's sometimes easier to find a space of ease. With the question, would it be all right if it got a little easier?
Right.
Like, it doesn't have to be such a big jump,
Right.
but it creates a big jump in consciousness.
Yeah, just the
So it's a
subtle
doorway.
shift. It's a doorway.
It's a
I love
doorway.
that.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So I did have somebody, this isn't necessarily a question, but maybe we can address it. They would love a copy of your additions to the Prayer for Protection.
Yeah, I'm thinking that probably maybe even next week we can start putting them on the slides, and we can also make that available.
Yeah, that sounds great. So we'll take care of that, and thanks for the suggestion. So I have another question for you. The other thing in your book is you lay out, I love Abraham Hicks' sort of model of the levels of consciousness. And I think somewhere in your book you talk about, kind of like you were just saying, you don't have to make that quantum leap, but just sort of like moving up that level. Maybe you could sort of touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, that's really it's one version of the scale of emotions.
Right.
So, and you can find all kinds of different versions. But kind of like I just said, if you start down in the real dense emotions, so we start way down with despair and hopelessness and then anger and depression, and you work your way up. So in psychology, really, if you make one level up, you're doing better. You feel better. So like if you're totally despaired and you move up a level and you find anger, then that's brilliant because you feel better, right? But you want to keep moving up. So you can jump up one emotion at a time.
Right.
And sometimes that's extremely valuable.
Yeah.
And what I really point to is that as soon as you stop, drop, you can pivot. But you can't, I meant to talk about this in my talk, but I ran out of time.
Isn't it funny how it goes so fast?
But it is, if you land out of your mind, which is where the pain is, which is where the suffering is, which is where the despair, the anger, the depression lives here. If you can get out of your mind, yes, lose your mind, I recommend it.
Yep.
And land in your center, then you have a portal really to a higher consciousness, where then it's super easy to move all through the levels. It's super easy to access love or kindness or compassion or peace or ease.
Right.
But you can't do it from baby stepping from the head. You still have to release that.
Yeah.
So did that answer your question? I kind of laid out.
Yeah, no, I really think it did. And you gave like a practical example, which I think is always very valuable as well. So thank you for that. And I think it's just really cool. In case you guys missed Jean's 8 a.m. talk, she talked about embodiment, which is sort of what we're talking about. Your whole process, it's not something you can think yourself to.
No, you can't think your way through it. You have to embody it. You have to integrate it. You get to use your intellect to learn it. You don't have to, but those of us who are intellectuals and we want to learn and we want to understand, but it is really embodiment of it, integration of it into your being that makes the lasting change.
Absolutely. Okay, so we got 2 questions for you now from our congregants. Thank you, guys. So how do the virtues of perseverance, steadfastness, and forbearance fit within a paradigm of ease?
Is that RV?
Yes. Always putting the stumper questions out there, RV.
So the 3 words again are
Perseverance, steadfastness, and
forbearance.
forbearance.
All of those point to what I call diligence and vigilance.
Right, yeah.
So it's about being diligent and vigilant with your mind and your energetic being to stay, but I don't want to mean stay because it doesn't matter how many times you fall off or fall out.
Right.
That doesn't matter, but to come back and to come back and to come back. So there is all of those things, especially perseverance in that awakening process. And the more you do it, the quicker you're actually changing neural pathways. More science I was going to share. I guess I needed a whole series on this one. It
That's
changes.
why we're taking 6 weeks.
That's right. That's right. That's why we're taking 6 weeks. But then you begin to build new neural pathways, and actually your body, your biochemical cocktails, if you will, change to where you actually expect and be and can access that point of ease easier and easier and quicker and for longer and longer times in any given moment.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, here's another question. So earlier you spoke of there being many ways to pivot. What are some ways you pivot when you are feeling prickly? Because I'm guessing you're probably not the only one who's experienced feeling prickly.
I might not be the only one that feels prickly. Well, I was sharing with you before service. I'm prickly. I'm like there's something going on in me. You're like, wow, what's going on? I go, I know what's going on. So I am aware of where I'm being called up.
Yeah.
And I'm being called up in personally inside my being. And when you're called up, there's an edge.
Yeah.
Right? It's the edge of the comfort zone, and I'm being pulled, shoved, drawn, whatever,
Right, right.
out of my comfort zone, and it makes me uneasy.
Yeah.
So that doesn't answer the question yet, but it gives the background.
No, but I think it's a good sort of point that, another sort of lead-in question. I know we're going to get to your question, Hope, but it's how do you balance there between that allowing yourself to be pulled out of the comfort zone, which is uneasy, and yet do it with ease. It's sort of like where we're kind of getting, right? But anyway, so
Right.
back to Hope's question, sorry.
And it is the paradox, which, by the way, is the second book, Paradox of Awakening, because it is paradoxical. But one of the ways to pivot is that stop, drop, and pivot, right?
Right.
I mean, one of the ways to pivot is to pivot, another paradox. But one of the examples that I like to use sometimes is if I find myself stuck or tied up in knots or prickly or whatever, I imagine that I'm standing in a corner, facing the corner, pounding my head against the wall, going, why isn't it different, right?
Right.
Right? And so to pivot is to literally pivot. Like you can pivot by lifting your eyes, lifting your vision, and then literally turn your body, and you go from seeing nothing to seeing the room. You can pivot by climbing up on a ladder, maybe not literally, and seeing a bigger picture. Mm-hmm. And you become comfortable, you become more at ease in your dis-ease or unease
Right.
when you know it's a growing edge
Yeah.
versus I'm just going to build camp there and
Yeah.
hang out there. Because a growing edge type of dis-ease, dis-ease sounds like disease,
Right.
but unease, a growing edge means that you're expanding in consciousness. You're stepping out to do something new, which is really good and expansive. And as soon as you do it, there is ease,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Well, there's I think a term like eustress. It's the type of stress that's actually good for you. It's sort of like when you're breaking down muscles in order to build them back up again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I know we were talking earlier about just making sure that we're providing tools. Sorry, my eye is twitching. That are relevant. So taking this into sort of ease and how that's going to actually help us showing up in the world. Any final thoughts that you have about that?
Take it as a practice.
Yeah.
Make a commitment to yourself, to your ever-expanding spiritual awareness. In Unity for many, many years, many of us, no judgment to anybody, because I know I was one of them, just come on Sunday. Or not come on Sunday.
Come virtually on Sunday.
Come virtually on Sunday, and you get inspired, and then by Monday morning, you're back to normal.
Right.
Right? But to use anything that you learn, not only here, but wherever, and to put it into practice. Because if we're really here to awaken, and our world needs us right now, then we get to go to the edge of our comfort zone again and again, and we get to practice. And when we're practicing, it's like learning to walk. It doesn't matter how many times you fall down, but pick yourself up, get support, reach out, take a class, get in a spirit group. There are lots of ways. Reach out to our ever-evolving care, consciousness of care, culture of care, and just do it. Just do it. Because even if it's uncomfortable now, think about if you do it now, a year from now, you'll be like this,
Right.
A year from now, right? You have to just start. You have to just really embody and integrate. And that's my soapbox.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being with us this Sunday afternoon. We hope that the rest of your day and your week is easy.
And filled with ease and grace.
Yes.
Even if it's hard.
Yes. Well,
Another
yes,
paradox.
that paradox. All
Yeah.
right.
All right. Bye, everyone. I'm like, Matt's not there.
Hello and welcome to this week's announcements for the fourth and final, can you believe it already, week of January.
Right. So it's the last week that you can say Happy New Year and it's still okay.
Oh, okay. Happy New Year, Kim.
There you go. Happy New Year, Joni. While the way of A Course in Miracles 2, The Undoing of Fear, began on January 14th and 15th, there is still time to join the 18-week exploration of A Course in Miracles. It's led by longtime course student and practitioner Jennifer Feiereisel, and the workshop is offered on a love offering basis. You can learn more and register online.
And if you were wanting to sign up for Prosperity Plus 3, our 8-week experiment in living full spectrum wealth with Reverend Aliza, it's not too late. Registration is open through Monday, January 25th. Join us as we explore the art and science of true transformation and learn how to take our dreams from a vision into reality.
Another opportunity to connect with Reverend Aliza is with her quantum frequency sessions. What better way to spend your lunch hour than hanging out in the quantum field? I'm reminded of the Rumi poem, Out Beyond Ideas, where wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. Join Reverend Aliza on Wednesday afternoons from 12:30 to 1:15 for weekly group quantum frequency sessions. Each session is unique as we use the group harmonics to discover and receive the most resonant frequencies for the moment. The sessions are offered on a love offering basis and take place on Zoom. Come play in the field with us starting this Wednesday, January 27th.
Affirmative meditative prayer is at the heart of the Unity spiritual path. Join licensed Unity teacher Anita Farrell and LUT candidate Sandra Vela, that's Vela, not Vila, like foyer or foyer, for a 5-week study beginning January 30th from 10 a.m. to noon via Zoom. Now, in this course, students are introduced to Unity's 5-step prayer process and supported in developing their daily prayer practice. There are 2 price options, and the class can be taken for credit towards becoming a licensed Unity teacher. Register today at unityhills.org.
We're pretty sure our angel wings, lovingly painted on the Unity Oaks Pavilion wall by Sharabella Feeney, are worthy of being an Instagrammable destination spot in Austin, right up there with the "You're my butter half" and "I love you so much," or the "Hi, how are you" frog. In order to promote the wings, we are running a drawing through the month of January. Share your wings photo on Instagram or Facebook with either hashtag ready to soar or hashtag finding my wings before January 31st to be entered into a drawing for some angelic gifts from our bookstore.
Would it be all right with you if life got easier? This question in Reverend Aliza Bloom Robinson's book, Falling into Ease, is at the center of her book, her ministry, and our upcoming Spirit Circle series. Over 6 weeks, our Spirit Circles will meet virtually to explore and embody greater ease. Boy, that sounds good. Beyond being a book study group, our Spirit Circles are primarily a place to come and be seen, heard, and supported in the easy way this time. They are spaces for fellowship, growth, friendship, and fun. Find a Spirit Circle to join today by visiting unityhills.org.
Copies of Reverend Aliza's books can be purchased through our bookstore, through our bookshop.org portal, or in the bookstore, which is open Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 5. Bookshop.org is an alternative to Amazon and actually puts more of your shopping dollars back in your spiritual community than utilizing Amazon Smile. And that's quite a big difference. If you are shopping for books to read, please consider visiting bookshop.org/shop/UCOH first.
Well, wait, Joni, you said that is bookshop.org only open 9 to 5, or is that open 24 hours a day? And our bookstore is open from 9 to 5.
Okay, bookshop.org is open 24 hours a day.
Okay,
the
perfect.
Bookstore is open 9 to 5.
Okay, thank you.
And that makes you smile, but we're not talking about Amazon Smile, correct? We're talking about bookstore.
Not anymore.
But not anymore. No. Okay. You know what, y'all? That's it for the announcements.
I love you.
We bless you.
We appreciate you.
And we behold the Christ.
the Christ you are. See you
See you
soon.
soon.
Bye, friends.